So we're at Whipsnade Zoo, the Zoological Society of London. It's not very near London, it's closer to Hemel Hempstead, but Hemel Hempstead wouldn't fit on the sign, so they call it part of London Zoo, Zoological Society of London. Well, it's linked to London Zoo. There you are. Look as though you're just standing next to a lion there. Alright, so it's Whipsnade Zoo we're in today. We've got to walk, even though there's hardly anybody queuing, we still have to walk through this great big cooling table thing here, which is a little bit silly. Let's be honest, there's enough walking to do once you're in there, so they don't really need to do this, but never mind. We're going to do one of my style films in the zoo today. So we're in, and Sophie is looking at the map. It's a huge territory, is Whipsnade Zoo. Very good for one's health. And it's a fine day, a bit of a wind, but it's warm wind. There's a guided group, you do get them around here. Right, I think I might not do it exactly as I usually do, which is to film everything I do and everywhere I go, keeping up the commentary, because it is a bit much. It's too much space to actually do that in. Well, the first exhibit is actually not a captive exhibit, it's a free-flying and go where you like animal exhibit. It's Welcome to the Butterfly Garden. All this is basically they've planted out in this section here the kind of plants that butterflies like to see. So you've got viburnums there, you've got I don't know, thistles, you've got some kind of hemlock there in the corner, like in Keats's Ode to Whatsits. You've got some rudbeckia there, haven't you, showing its rude beak at you. You've got some cornflower over there. I don't want to do any more corny jokes about that one. There's got some lavender down there. Various other things, primulas and what have you. I don't know what that is, maybe it's a pea of sorts. Sunflowers, obviously, which are getting near the end of their saison here. And not a butterfly to be seen, so there we go, there's the irony of that. We're out to go into the lemur enclosure, way in with the lemurs. No food zone, do not touch the lemurs. Follow the instructions of the staff. Pull. Pull. Okay? You don't need to pull both of them, you just pull one or the other. And it's got like a little motor around it. Oh, no, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And yeah, you got your wildlife in Madagascar, the tree boa. So you've got your all of these things could be anywhere, jump out at you. This is like mini Madagascar, that's why they put some water around it. Danger, deep water. And we come to the lemurs. They're not always doing all sorts of things at all times of day, by the way, so don't try and touch it.
Hello. Hello. Can I have my camera, please?
Yes, you can. If you're going to do it, then I won't do it.
Please.
So don't get too near there. Otherwise you'll scare him off. Scared him off, you will. Long tail. Not doing much anyway. More of them over there, of course. There's plenty of them around here. And they don't have to come unless they're inclined to do so. So there we are. Happy? Happy? That's the ticket. Always like a bit of motion in these films. Okay, thank you for that. Well, this is actually a chimpanzee-like island, I suppose. It's not really an island because it links to that, but there's a pond going around most of it like a moat. Chimps don't really want to cross water. They don't have much of a liking for it. So moats are usually the thing, which is enough to keep them in. If they did go on this side, then all they've got to deal with is some of these tomato bushes. They're not really tomatoes. It's rose hips, very nice big rose hips, I have to say, and that's enough to keep the old chimps at bay. You probably see them there in the distance. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but they're just three. They're not really being active. They're just sitting there, 3 or 4 of them on that wooden structure in the middle. They're not really doing much other than that. In the sky we have crows, but they're not part of the zoo necessarily. They're sort of like an optional part. They come in when they want to, and when they don't want to, then they go on. On this side of the road we have, or street I should say rather than road, that we have the European bison, which obviously is it's basically from, this is a habitat, let's see if they get this right, Poland, and reintroduced into Kazakhstan, Belarus, Lithuania, Russian Federation and Ukraine, but basically it's a Polish animal, which is why my company actually has this animal walking around on the cover of the brochure for Poland. We've done something other ones for Czech Republic and Slovakia. I think I picked a mouflon for Czech Republic because they've got a very successful mouflon breeding program, and a chamois for Slovakia, which likewise has chamois. Basically we've got large mammals on the English language brochure, and we've got birds I think in the local language version of the brochure. Birds connected and animals connected with the country. Right, so they're not doing much at the moment, but believe you me, they're powerful enough when they get going. You wouldn't want to get in the way of one. So there they are, peacefully sitting there on the side. So there's more European animals coming up. Well, here we got the wild boar, which is known as Sus scrofa. Sus is Latin for pig, scrofa is like scruffy pig. So the wild boar is what used to be wild in this country too, but you don't get them in the wild here now. You do in Poland, but I've never really seen one. You can see its little taper-like stripes on that baby one there. But you can't get a bit closer to the network there, but it is a dangerous animal. So I think oh, where's she gone? This is not brilliant for photography anyway, because you standard photography, because you wouldn't take like a wildlife shot across a fence like that, but so you may as well film rather than take traditional photos. Once native to Britain, this wild ancestor of the pig was hunted to extinction by the 13th century. So there we are. About time they hold it back. There are a few that have escaped from farms because they farmed them to get a wild zombie. Oh, there we go. There's the digging action. Of an older one, rubbing around in the mud there, with pushing it up, digging with the snout. That's an amazing power. It just can dig into the earth with its snout, and so that's the same digging action that it performs when it attacks somebody.
Are you trying to show off?
Well, I think it's just doing what comes naturally.
Yeah, it comes naturally.
Okay.
Oh, there's another one.
There aren't any real tuskers among them, but if you met that in the forest and it came towards you, you would probably want to make yourself scarce, because they are powerful creatures. Small though they may be, they are muscular and strong and tough and hard, so and aggressive, bad-tempered. So there we go. You wouldn't really necessarily want to muck about with one. Yeah, these animals may bite indeed. Well, there's the bears. We're looking from the so-called bear hide. It would be much better if it wasn't that there was a full 2 sets of glass, one sort of like this plasticky thing which is a bit scratched, and then that other not too clean glass in between. But we're not far off. At least you don't have the usual bars between yourself and the bear here. This is on full thingy. If I pull it back, you'll see there is quite a distance between us and the bear. But it's an interesting thing to do it, to have a bit that actually works this way. Big animals, the biggest European native carnivore, and again, not in England but in Poland you'll find them. Only in parts of Poland, down where the mountains are, down near Slovakia. Slovaks are always telling me that they're not Polish bears, they're Slovak bears, but there are a few of them. Whether they get quite as big as this, I'm not sure, but they're there, and bears are bears, you know. But it's the stock of children's stories, the bear, and of European fairy stories and legends going back to when they did live freely everywhere. And of course the teddy bear, you've got a teddy bear, and you did promise that teddy bear last night that you would come and see the bears, so you're keeping your promise now, aren't you, Sophie? Right, and there they are.